Hey guys, Society Reviews here, my top 10 worst movies of 2023. Yes, I know it's hard to narrow it down to just 10, but that's exactly what we're gonna do here. 2023 was a year that Hollywood took aim at men in the Western world, promoted projects that were full of degeneracy. Some films even went to war with God himself. And no, that is not being extreme. In a year full of terrible movies, there's only 10 that we can talk about here. So let's start off with number 10, The Marvels. You can argue whether this is the worst MCU film of all time, even though I think Eternals has it beat. But The Marvels absolutely deserves to be on the top 10 list of worst films of the year. A film that was written by 3 women combined to produce one of the most disjointed and unorganized films in recent memory. By the time you get to the scene where Carol Danvers is playing jump rope with Beastie Boys playing in the background, you're going to ask yourself, what film are you even watching right now? If you're expecting some super crazy awesome end credit scene to save the movie, well, don't. There's absolutely no arguing that The Marvels is one of the worst MCU films of all time, and it certainly deserves to be on our list of top 10. Number 9 is The Creator. Putting aside the fact that Hollywood is still trying to make John David Washington a leading actor, The Creator is basically a subversive predictive programming from transhumanism. The Creator takes elements from the Bible and perverts them by making the protagonists of this film AI robots, which means that the enemy of this film is, of course, humans. If you love the idea of transhumanism where you're using robots to replace humanity, then you'll probably find some enjoyment with this film. Otherwise, you're out of luck. One of the most unironically soulless films of 2023. The Creator proves that sale was just another massive waste of corporate money and another massive waste of audience time. Number 8 is Scream 6. A franchise that is so woke it took the actors arguing over the Israel-Palestine conflict to finally kill it. The recent Scream movies have spotlighted their diversity characters to have immortality like Jason Voorhees, which makes him feel like a parody within a parody. But the film is even lazier than that. Spoiler alert, if you're white and you're not gay, you're the killers. What makes it even dumber is that we're supposed to believe that our protagonist had no idea that the killers of this movie was their ex-boyfriend's family the entire time. A film that is stupid beyond human belief cannot be enjoyed by anyone who has an IQ above a football. Paramount's recent Scream films have been absolutely atrocious, but hey, at least the good news is you don't have to watch any more for the future. Number 7 on this list is House Party. It's bad enough that LeBron James tried to do a Space Jam movie, and now he's doing a House Party movie too. This film is a failure right out of the gate. For a comedy, this film is about as funny as watching George Floyd's arrest video. The plot of this film is paper thin, and the protagonists claim that they're doing this all for the main character's daughter, but you get no indication whatsoever that our protagonist is actually a good father in any way, shape, or form. This movie is all about celebrity worship. Random rappers and basketball players appear throughout the film, and that's the only thing that's supposed to make the audience care about watching the movie. If you don't like Snoop Dogg, Kid Cudi, and Illuminati references, this film is not for you. House Party is dead on arrival and firmly on our top 10 list of worst films of the year. Number 6 is The Color Purple. If Barbie was the flag bearer for white girl feminism this year, The Color Purple is the flag bearer for black girl feminism this year. Warner Brothers' remake of The Color Purple is a quasi-musical that sends a message loud and clear that black women do not need to be bound by a man under any circumstances. The problem with modern Hollywood propaganda is that the only way to promote a movie like this is that they have to portray the men as evil in order to justify their worldview. Every man in this film is a rapist, abuser, and a coward. And they think by doing this, they'll leave you no choice but to reject the patriarchy and accept the matriarchy, right? Wrong. This subversive excuse for a film is nothing more than Hollywood's latest 2.5-hour attempt to destroy men and make women the victim of society. Racism, misandry, and let's throw some lesbianism while we're in there. Don't bother giving any of your money or time to this dreadful time vampire of a film. Number 5 on our list is Knock at the Cabin. This film begs for the audience's emotion to a completely nonsensical biblical allegory of a story about a gay couple and their adopted Asian daughter. While the film itself is basically an overthought lecture on homophobia in society, the plot and the storyline makes it even dumber. In order to save humanity, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse ask a random gay couple to sacrifice themselves because their love is so pure it's the only thing that can save the world from total destruction. Yes, this is the whole plot of the film for 2 hours. The film is devoid of any drama or tension. The characters are unbelievable and the story never makes it off the ground. When M. Night Shyamalan misses, he really misses. Knock at the Cabin is a poor excuse for a horror film written by 3 men and directed by a man whose only source of creativity is finding new ways to disappoint his audience. Number 4 on this list is The Blackening. It's been over a decade since the rise of Black Lives Matter has absolutely plagued race relations in the United States of America. And The Blackening is a film written by 2 college-educated idiots who aren't even qualified to run a 7-Eleven in Reseda, but somehow they've been allowed to make a film where they're in charge of a movie that they're not qualified to be in. The dialogue of this movie is so bad it would make the NBC soap opera Passions blush, but the cardinal sin of this movie is his hatred towards white people and black people who support Trump. This film is basically Black Twitter the movie. Since the movie fails at being funny on any level, the only real message that it has for you is that if you're a black person who voted for Trump, you probably deserve to die. Yeah, I think this film earns a spot at number 4. The number 3 movie on our list is Joyride. If there's one name in Hollywood that has become unreliable for cinematic degeneracy, it's Seth Rogen. If he's producing a movie or writing a movie, you can guarantee he'd be in for the most insufferable film experience of the entire year. When it's not using racism as a punchline, the film is full with degeneracy, drug references, and awkward sex scenes that do not play off for the laughs that they want it to. As someone who has grown fond of South Korean cinema over the last several years, most people watching this from Korea or China would likely hate the people in the United States based on how they view Asians based on this movie. When Seth Rogen isn't finding more ways to lower the bar, he's producing films like Joyride, which is the perfect example of everything that is wrong with modern Hollywood. Number 2 on this list is 80 for Brady. I wish I had more to tell you about why 80 for Brady is bad. It's just bad. A group of elderly women go to the Super Bowl because they love Tom Brady, and that's about it. Everything about this film is fake, from the script to the actors' performances to the cameos that make no sense whatsoever. Why is Guy Fieri in this film? The film is too safe to be memorable and uses a severely broken Hollywood comedy model for its laughs. If there's one takeaway for 80 for Brady, is that sports athletes should not be movie producers. And the number 1 worst film of 2023 is Dix the Musical. Dix the Musical is written and produced by the exact people who hate you. A movie full of blasphemy, degeneracy, incest, and progressivism all rolled into one god-awful movie. The film places 2 pillow biters who also happen to be brothers, by the way. And in an asinine attempt to bring the divorced parents back together, the 2 men actually fall in love with themselves, have sex, and get married, all under the altar of a flamboyant homosexual claiming to be God. If you believe in a higher power, then you would have to believe that the people associated in this film will be the first in line to be thrown in the lake of fire. This is a film that only appeals, and I mean only appeals, to rich New York Biden voters and literally no one else. A film that couldn't even justify 80 minutes of runtime, has all the diversity and inclusion checkboxes needed to win a positive review on Rotten Tomatoes. However, in reality, this film is a perfect example of society being at the bottom of the slippery slope. If Hollywood has more films like Dix the Musical in store for us in 2024, we are in serious trouble as moviegoers. Dix the Musical is not only the number 1 worst film of 2023, it may be pound for pound the worst movie ever.
This sucks.
Yeah, it really sucks.